It is Let's Talk Arts and Entertainment, and like many things this past year, the Poetry Out Loud contest is virtual. Usually is one of those events held in person, but like you said, virtual. Some submitted their videos, but some local, as usual, there are some local artists, some local poets who were able to perform some poetry, and a couple in the local area moving on to the finals. To talk about it a little more is Sheila Walk from the Springfield Area Arts Council. How are you, Sheila?
I am well. It's good to see you again, Kevin, and it's nice to spend a few minutes with your listeners again.
Thank you. It's good to see you too, and it's good to talk to you. So with Poetry Out Loud, so some big news. A couple of local people from Central Illinois going to be moving on to the finals. What is going on?
Poetry Out Loud is probably my favorite project of all the programs that I run for the Springfield Area Arts Council. It is a poetry recitation contest for high school students. And many people will say, oh, isn't that nice? Teenagers reciting poetry. But the top prize at the national level is $20,000. So it's really competitive. And Illinois has been well represented in that national contest year after year. This is the 16th year of the program. I worked on Poetry Out Loud when I was a teacher at Ursuline Academy in my oral interpretation classes. And then when that school closed, I became a judge, and then I volunteered to help with the program, and then they paid me to help, and then they paid me to run it, and now I'm the executive director. So I've been with Poetry Out Loud since it began, and it has been a true professional pleasure to watch it grow. Millions of students and teachers have been involved since the program began. It's organized by the National Endowment for the Arts and the Poetry Foundation, and the state partner for those two nonprofits and government agencies is another government agency here in Illinois, the Illinois Arts Council. The Illinois Arts Council partners with 8 regional coordinators. We have 8 regional contests. I just finished the Central Illinois contest last week, and now the Springfield Area Arts Council also hosts the Illinois State Contest. So I'm right between the two, and it's very exciting. I love it when the students can come to the Hoagland Center for the Arts. They meet each other, they talk about poetry, and they talk about everything else that teenagers discuss when they first meet. And it's just such a joy to see them merge their life stories and support one another in the competition. I miss that this year since it's virtual. I miss being with teenagers and teachers in that way, but I am in constant communication with them via email and telephone as we manage these virtual contests. Another difference I notice is the number of students involved. Last year, program year 2020, in the state of Illinois, over 10,000 students were engaged in the program. This year, program year 2021, just over 3,000 students are involved. So it is a difference, but it had the NEA and the Poetry Foundation figured out a way, along with their partners, to keep the program moving. The national contest will be virtual as well, but the prize packages are still the same. And what this is, maybe I should explain to your listeners, it's the students work with their teachers to choose poems from an online anthology of about 1,000 classic and contemporary poems. They choose something that resonates with them at this point in their life, that helps them tell their own story or their family's story, and they analyze it, they memorize it, and then with very clear rules, they recite it, typically in front of an audience and judges, this time just in front of judges, recitation judges, and an accuracy judge. It must be done precisely as the poet wrote it, without embellishment.
All right. Well, So that was done, like you said, originally done in front of an audience. So with this, since it's virtual, are any of them being performed live streamed, or are they recorded and sent in?
The regional coordinators around Illinois found different ways to do it. I settled in, again, working with U Media, to having them record the recitations on their own, and then U Media packages them up nicely for the judges who are sitting at the home or office computers to do the scoring.
All right, very cool. That is very cool. So, so those so and the students in Central Illinois that made it to the finals, the two students, those are Thaddeus Bergschneider and Madden Delaney, both of Franklin High School. They were the top two finishers in the recent local competition.
Yes, and it is unusual to have both students come from one school. The judges have no idea what schools these students are from, what town they're from, and so that two of them came from the same school. They're just thrilled there at Franklin High School, and I'm so excited for them. They've been participating for several years. They've gotten as high as a third place finisher, but to have a winner and a runner up, a lot of work ahead of them, but they're excited, they're ready, and their recitations will hold up at the state competition. They're good.
Good. That's awesome. Well, that is wonderful. That is great. If people want to get more information about Poetry Out Loud or the Springfield Area Arts Council, where can they go?
There is a section on our website for Poetry Out Loud under programs and events, the drop down menu there. So go to springfieldartsco.org, and you can find information about the program, the press release for the regional contest. And the national website is quite good too. It gives all the criteria, it gives lots and lots of sample recitations, and that's poetryoutloud.org.
All right, Springfield Area Arts Co. or poetryoutloud.org. Is that right?
Correct. Yep.
.org. Wonderful. Okay, Sheila, thank you so much for joining me. And obviously, as we'd say in theater, break a leg to these students. I know they are going to be wonderful for the Poetry Out Loud contest. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, and thanks for your good wishes. Stay safe and well, everyone.
Will do. It is Let's Talk Arts and Entertainment on WMAY.